Welcome to the BassandBigG.com Gunnersville Grassroots Podcast. My name's Pat Kennemer. I'm here with my co-host, Trey Swindle. Today is March the 21st, 2022. It's 70-something degrees outside, Trey, and we should be fishing.
We should be. We should have called in sick today.
You know, if we hadn't had Mr. Tom Sturgeon with Team Vet lined up to come on and come here in studio, never thought I'd say that, in studio to talk with us today, we should have maybe postponed recording for a day.
That's kind of what I'm thinking because they're kind of biting out there.
That's what I hear for these Monday through Thursday guys like you. But
that's right. I do my fishing Monday through Thursday, and then I just let everybody else have it.
Yeah, well, you have to.
That's right.
Because it's nice on Mondays. Let me tell you what it's like on Saturday. 3-foot rollers on that river.
Yep, it looks like the Walmart parking lot out there.
You know, this past Saturday, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. There was, probably because of the 20-mile-an-hour southwest wind and 100,000 cubic foot per second TVA current, had the waves standing up pretty good. I fished a little 16, 18 boat Wildcat thing out of City Park in Scottsboro, and although I'm not a fan of this, they're letting people trailer if they want to. Mm-hmm. And I took advantage of it, and I went right on over to Goose Pond, and which wasn't far, but in 2 to 3 foot rollers, particularly up in the day, I was really proud I did that.
Yeah,
so,
I guarantee you.
So I hear you're still catching them Monday through Thursday.
Monday through Thursday, I can show you where they're at. Now, come Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you'll just have to go by yourself.
I think there's been enough people show where they're at.
Yeah, there's been a lot.
Every fish in the lake's in one spot these days.
Every one of them.
I saw some pretty good pictures. And what those weigh?
The biggest one that I posted, the scale says 770. I've caught some 7-pounders in my life. I could have swore it was bigger, but the scale said it was 770. We had a 770, a 670, a 640, a 550 something, and then a 420 was our smallest. We had almost 31, something like that. It was like 3083 on the scale. And
then you get to Saturday, and the biggest bag weighed in was 19.75.
Yep.
It's crazy. Now, that was just the right couple of days when they were chewing and coming in. You were downriver.
Yep, I was downriver.
What's water look like down there?
It's stained in a couple places, but it's not muddy. Like everything's fishable. You know, it's if you get like back in some creeks, it's pretty clear. But once you get out kind of towards the river, it's a little stained. But I like it stained. I think they bite better when they can't see it as good. You know, so it's pretty good down there.
Is there still plenty of floating grass?
Everywhere.
Yeah, that same thing upriver.
Yep. And the floating grass only gets where the fish live. If there's no floating grass there,
you might as well not even stop.
Yep. If you can't cast, they're biting every cast. They're just biting.
Right. I saw the same thing. I fished, City Park to Mink Creek area. Mm-hmm. It was pretty blown up out there where I was. The wind blew hard on Friday when that rain blew in, and then Saturday it was still blowing. It was supposed to shift west, and it did about 15 minutes before we put it on trailer.
Yeah.
Look, you start getting that west wind and northwest, there's a lot of lake to fish. You got that southwest, there's just not many places to hide from that on this lake. And then the northeast, right the opposite, can be pretty bad. But which is our morning wind on Gunnersville Lake. If you're somewhere this time of year, just about every morning, it's blowing straight down the river out of the northeast until it stops and turns around and blows 20 mile an hour the other direction.
That's right.
So, and pushes the floating grass. I think the fish follow it. Maybe.
Maybe they use it as shade.
I don't know. It's going to be like saltwater fishing. You get out there in the ocean, you see a barrel or some floating stuff, and you cast under and catch one.
That's right. That's right.
I've had 8 Bass Cash Bash tags caught so far by people that are registered. There's been several of that guys, but they're not really calling because they know they're that guy, and they just don't want to admit it, which means we've done a good job of telling people about it. All we ask is that they know. If they catch one and they don't know, then we didn't do our job. We can't make you sign up. Trey, it's an example.
That's right.
But there's a couple folks that I got told this past weekend had caught one at Mud Creek in a Monday afternoon tournament who's a regular tournament fishing on Gunnersville Lake. And I'm like, I can't believe the dude didn't. I don't know if he forgot. I hadn't heard the whole story. Yeah. Needless to say, he didn't call. He didn't send us any pictures. And we like making fun of him. So
that's right.
A couple weekends ago, everybody's ready to go fishing, and it snowed. Cold.
Big time.
Did not have the impact on the water temp that I thought it would.
Not as bad. not as bad as I thought either. It did hurt it, but not too bad.
Yeah.
And it helped because it was 70-something the day before. Everybody was cutting grass and weed eating, and then it snowed that night. So
Right.
But,
Yeah. Welcome to Alabama.
yeah, exactly. But it didn't affect it too bad.
That was Kay Donaldson's fault, right?
It's always her fault.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kay. I know you're listening now.
Yeah. So Kay Donaldson, the director of the Alabama Bass Trail, she's not the I don't know her title. She's the head of the whole deal. Chimed in on a social media post and said, "I hear you, Trey Swindle," because on our last episode, he said something along the lines of, "I consider Kay a friend, so I can say this," but she makes it get really cold on ABT or something to that effect. And then she chimed in, and I got tickled, and I said, "I'll make sure I tell Trey." And of course, his first response was, "Oh my gosh, what did I say?"
Yeah, I couldn't even remember what I said, but I mean, hey, I'm here for. I was just trying to make sure she was paying attention. I got her attention.
You got her
bet
attention.
She listens this week to see what I say about her.
I'm just honored she listened. I'll be honest with you. Those guys have got a lot going on. I think I heard them say they're doing 5 tournaments in a row. Well, I think the Classic might have counted as she had 5 weekends in a row of stuff. So they're just a little bit on the busy side right now. Probably begging for a break. Weights this past weekend, they seemed down, but I went back about an hour ago and was looking at results on the Bass and Big G website. It's really about like last year. Yeah. I mean, there'll be some weekends that it seems like everybody catches 25 pounds, and then there's some weekends that they don't. I think the wind's a bit of a factor. The Sunday weight of the Heartland tournament says that. But, that little Wildcat that I fished had, 16 boats, 18 won, 1630 was third. I had 1629.
Of course.
I lost out on a whopping $50 there, but
That's right.
But we didn't lose any. We just had to get in the middle of go where fish where you could fish in that wind. I don't like days like that, but that is the second full day that I've got to fish this year. And you fished 4 last week, so
maybe 5.
Maybe 5.
I won't tell my boss that.
Daylight till dawn. Hey, did you get your work done?
I did.
It doesn't matter.
That's what I do. I fish all day, and then I just work for about however long it takes me at night, and then I go to bed and do it all over again.
It's a rough life. I envy you.
That's right.
Get a little older, get married, and have kids, then you're just going to work and talk about fishing like I do.
Right.
So.
I'll sacrifice a couple hours of sleep at night, though, to fish all day.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Saturday, the Sturgeon Volunteer Fire Department tournament. Tom Ott and Josh Butler won that with 1975. I believe our co-host over here, Trey Swindle, was DMC for that tournament, using his skills.
That's right.
Over there talking fishing.
That's exactly right.
Well, on Tuesdays they were really biting.
That's right.
Honeycomb, it's normal, pretty good turnout. They had 1931 to win, 16 for third. The ABA out of Goose Pond, which is a solo deal. Chuck Him won that with 16.15, and then third was 15 and a quarter. Sunday, that Heartland, they had a pretty good turnout. 25 boats on the Sunday for a little trail like that's not too bad. 23 and a half was first. I know 22 something was second. The winners were David Brown and Randy Brown. I had to message the guy when he sent me the screenshot of his weigh sheet because I couldn't read it. I said, "Does that say Brown?" He goes, "Yeah, they're brothers." So congrats to those guys. 19 and a quarter third, was third in that. So maybe the wind being down a little bit helped.
Yeah.
On Sunday. You said you fished a little bit Sunday.
Yeah, I did. It wasn't too bad. You could get out of it, but it was good enough to fish a couple areas. But I will say, I don't know about you. I know you fished a little bit the past 3 or 4 weeks. I've caught more fish this year than I think I ever have at Gunnersville, just numbers wise.
I have been on probably the worst weather days that have been available. I've not been able to fish a lot of the places, like a day like today, which there's a pretty good breeze out there today. I've seen a lot of fish, tagging fish. There's folks that on the days that they were eating, there has been a lot, 2-3 pounders. Yeah,
and that's kind of like I ain't caught 20 pounds every time I win or nothing like that, but just numbers wise, like I've had 2 days I've caught, upper 50s, 60s. I had caught 76 one day, but now some of them are a pound, some of them are 2 pounds, some of them are 7 pounds. But I mean,
you found the biggest school of fish in Gunnersville Lake in a foot of water.
I feel like I did.
Tell us what you saw yesterday.
So yesterday, I decided I was going to go try to catch some at my little flat back there. So I went back there. I took a friend of mine from Tennessee with me. So
A girl.
She come down with me. And so we went back there and we power poled down and we was just about to start fishing. I hear something. I'm like, what the crap is that? So I turned around and it was a boat like going to come run in this pocket. Now keep in mind, the deepest part of this place is like 2 feet. The absolute deepest. And it goes like a mile back up in there. Maybe 2 miles. So the deepest part's 2 feet. They come running in, and I'm like, okay, they're going to run in. This is a little crazy because I was idling in here and was hitting stumps, but whatever. So they come in, and then I get looking closer. They're pulling their kids on inner tubes.
What's the water temp? 60?
Too cold.
Yeah, too cold.
58,
60,
60, somewhere in there. So it's too cold for that, for sure. And on top of that, I'm like, you're running through 2 feet of water where there's stumps everywhere, even if there wasn't stumps.
Nowhere near a channel.
Nowhere near a channel. So if your kid did fall off, they're standing up. Like they could stand up and it wouldn't be to their knees. Like
if they don't break their leg on a stump.
Or break their neck. Like I mean, it was honestly scary. Like and then they run right over where I was casting stirred up mud. So I just kind of went on to the next place. But anyways, that's besides the point. That's a little dangerous.
That's a lot dangerous. There's too many people that come to Guntersville, and obviously those people probably live around there somewhere that think if there's water they can run. And you know, mid-river Saturday, you know, the water was pretty about a full pool, but you know that'll vary. You know, the river gets so much wider down there at the end. Was it pretty low still, or was it?
It wasn't. I wouldn't say it was low, but it wasn't like full pool. So it was kind of. I mean, it was.
There's a board on the dock at Goose Pond that I always kind of use as a 2x6 that's underneath the bottom. That's kind of somewhere normal full pool on that in the summer is going to be somewhere kind of halfway up it to the top, and there was about an inch showing from the top. And I'm like, wow. And then a buddy of mine went way upriver Saturday, and he said some of the primrose type stuff that he'd been fishing swim jigs in was a foot underwater.
Huh.
But it's narrower up there, and it just takes it longer to get down. So,
and we're not saying that to be to judge anybody or be mean or nothing. But if you're out there and you're pulling your kids on inner tubes or anything like that, just be careful. At least know where you're at.
Be careful. Pay attention.
It could get bad quick. So
and, hopefully those kids didn't fall in because it's cold.
Yep. I saw them fall in.
Did you really? Did you hear them squeal?
I did. I did. I don't know if their plan was to not fall off, but that never happens.
How do you ride a tube and not get wet?
That's what I'm saying. I've rode one before, and even if you don't fall in, you get wet.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's 58. The water temp's 58. That ain't for Trey.
No, it's not. It's not for me either. Recently, I had a conversation with a couple different guides who I did not ask today if I could mention their names, so I'm not going to just yet. And then I had talked with another guy Saturday, that just kind of came up talking after that tournament Saturday about gill nets. Mm-hmm. Gill nets are legal, by the way. There's been several people talking about the damage they feel like they're doing. This particular group was referencing Mud Creek because it's pretty. I don't know if you've ever even fished Mud Creek much, but
just a little bit.
It gets narrow in places. Like if you go between the two bridges there, the boat ramp, you go under a bridge. The other one, the Highway 72, it's pretty narrow. The people doing the gill nets are doing what they're supposed to do for the most part. They're legal. But they're killing a lot of fish. Yeah. And people are starting to rumble again about, hey, how do we, we're ruining or not ruining, but hurting the lake for three people to make a living. And they've got as much right to make a living as we do to fish on it. But, the gill nets, that gill net talk's stirring up again. Yeah. And I don't know if you've heard any of it lately. But
I haven't. I know it got real bad last year, but everybody always asks me what I think about it. And I'm like, well, what do you want me to say? They're not doing anything wrong.
I agree.
I mean, do I agree with it if they're killing a bunch of bass and just fish in general? Not really. But at the same time,
hey, as long as they're legal.
It's legal. He's doing what he's supposed to. And I've actually met the guy that does it. One of the guys.
One of the guys?
It. Yeah, it's not just one, but I met one of the guys that does it. Stand-up guy, respectful, always speak to you like just nice as can be. Like he means no harm. Like
right. Yeah,
he's just
commercial
nice
fisherman
guy.
doing his deal.
So I'm like, how could you be mad at a guy when he's necessarily not doing anything wrong?
It's just the timing of it. It's not being mad at the person individually. Yep. It's don't hate the player, hate the game kind of deal. It's a problem for us bass fishermen. But if us bass fishermen ban the gill nets by some, go to the Conservation Advisory Board down in Montgomery and where they find a way. It has been banned before. I think it was 2014 or 15 they opened it back up. Then it hurts them. So,
the only reason I get mad at it is because I see they catch like 10-pounders in these nets, and I don't know if I've caught a 10-pounder my whole life. So I'm
if you didn't catch it in the last 2 weeks, you may not. So, we'll get into that in a little while, big fish wise, because the Big Bass Splash is coming up this weekend. It's probably going to be windy at least one day. You get a 3-day Big Bass Splash event, you're guaranteed one day of blow the hat off your head wind, and sometimes some stuff to go with it. We've got some tornadoes coming tomorrow. Tuesday evening, maybe not. A little bit more rain. We'll see what that does. But overall, the weather looks pretty stable next weekend, so it could be good. The full moon was this past Saturday. Do you think those fish you're catching are spawning?
I think they're moving up.
I don't think they're still coming
yet, but I think they're just moving up in waves, getting ready to.
Getting ready.
Yep.
And you keep catching them.
And I just keep catching them. I'm going to catch every one of them till they don't bite no more.
But there was only 8 boats down there with you yesterday.
There was only 8 boats in there with me.
Plus a ski boat.
Plus the ski boat and inner tubers.
I'd knock my foot off my boat if I ran up anything like that.
That's how I see these pontoons and stuff. They'll just run over the gnarliest flat in the whole lake.
Out there in front of all reds?
I'll be running in the channel and hit a floater at 70 and knock my whole loader unit off. And I'm like, how do I do this? But they can run through the islands at all reds and not hit anything at all.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It is.
I never have understood that. I watch people, and I couldn't do that one time because I know it's there. I guess ignorance is the key.
Yeah.
If
you just don't even know.
If you don't know it's there, it doesn't exist. You just run right through it. So we've got, I mentioned this earlier, we've got Tom Sturgeon, which started an organization named Team Vet that's going to sit with us today. I got a text just a minute ago. He's here. So we're going to bring him in and let him talk about his tournament coming up here April the 9th, tell a little bit about his story. We've got Tom Sturgeon sitting here with us in the bassandbiggg.com studio. Again, that sounds kind of weird to me, but I'm glad he's here. Thanks for joining us. Tom runs an organization called Team Vet. He's got a fishing tournament coming up out of Waterfront April the 9th that is a fundraiser for his organization.
Yes.
It's going to be a pretty big event. It's got a lot of cool stuff planned. We're going to let Tom talk for a minute. I don't want to tell his story. I want him to tell it. We're going to let him talk about the tournament, his event, how he's planned it, what he's trying to do, and what led him to do it. So, Tom, Go ahead.
Thank you for allowing us to be here.
Yes, sir.
Team Vet started a year ago in April, and it was something for just me and my wife that we started. And we lived on Kentucky Lake at the time. And how it started is I'm 100% deaf. And it's combat connected through the military. And then I was a first responder. And I had that taken away from me when I first started having seizures and everything. And we fought it. And I actually became the fire chief. And I got a congressional award from Congress for it. So me and my wife got to talking, and I love the outdoors. So we created Team Vet, and what we would do was we would take a vet out, and I would give him a fishing pole. I'd give him tackle, a GoPro video, and a meal. And this was all funded off of me and my wife. When I got 100% disabled, they gave me my back pay. And we went out and put money on our boat, truck, and then we spent every dime we had helping vets and first responders and disabled children. Well, it grew. And from April to October, we took 89 different people out. That was 89 fishing poles, tackle, and everything that we paid for ourselves. Well, we come down to Gunnersville. I wanted to fish Gunnersville. It was my dream lake. So when I came down here, I met the guys from the VFW, and I seen the memorial park they had there, and they talked to me about coming here. Within 2 weeks, we moved, and we started here taking more vets out. I met Sam Mash, and me and him have now joined together, and then we have some other guys up in Fort Payne, Carson and Buddy, we're becoming a nonprofit, and we are able to do more. Over the holidays, we stopped 9 veterans from across the country that called us, and we stopped them from suicide. And how that we're really proud that Team Vet's working is the Toyota tournament was just here. We got called from a guy who found a guy who was battling. He was out there and he was battling, and he got a hold of another pro, Michelle Mitchell got a hold of us, and she said, Tom, he needs help. Within 30 to 40 minutes, we had our guys there, and we got him the assistance that he needed, and we got contacted the next day and was told that if we wouldn't have got there, he wouldn't be here. So we know Team Vet's working. So now we do tournament. We're putting on tournaments in Texas. We're putting on tournaments with Fishing for Warriors on Lake Eufaula this year. But the reason is it takes a lot to do what we do. But reason I started this and my wife was I tried to commit suicide 4 times. I do a lot of inspirational speaking, and I carry the bullet with me when I talk that was in the gun the last time I pulled it. And if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here. And so I want guys to know that suicide is not the answer. There's people out there that care, because the people that sponsor Team Vet, I allow nothing on the side of my boat because it's the American flag and it's all of our military. But on the inside in our truck that matches it, we put our sponsors.
Sure.
And I want them to know these companies sponsor you. These companies are the ones that you go to that they promote our vets, our first responders. So now what we do is I'm wanting to fish pro. The reason is it's not the pro status. It's to show guys that are out there that you can do it. You do matter. Just because you're battling something, you can do it. Or that child that's out there that's deaf, that can sit there and say, you know what, Mr. Tom did it. I can do it too.
Absolutely.
And so that's the reason we do it. And now our plans are, before we go to a tournament, we rent an Airbnb. Mm-hmm. And we go out for 2 days early before you can't have anybody on your boat. And we find vets or first responders in need, and we take them fishing. We bring them back to our Airbnb. We cook a meal and see if there's anything they need for them and their families. So everywhere we travel, we'll do that. And we're going to have a YouTube channel that videos everything, except for the personal stuff that they may talk about.
Yes, sir.
Plus, we teamed up with a counseling group that helps us. So we're reaching so many areas all across the countries. For instance, Thanksgiving, I got called at 2:00 in the morning. And for 5 hours, I worked with a guy until I could get someone there to help take care of his kids, and him and his wife could get assistance. So that's what it's about. It's not about the prestige of it. I could care less. I'm very humble about that. It's not about me. It's about those guys. Because when you lose your brothers or your sisters out there, and I tell people, first responders wear a mask, and so do military, and we hide it all inside. Mm-hmm. And so that was the reason we created Team Vet. And me and Sam, we thought about it, and we're like, let's throw a tournament to raise money for what we do. You know, at Christmas, we gave 179 gifts to disabled children and foster kids. And we had Scottsboro give us a police escort, and we went all over Scottsboro handing gifts out with Santa Claus in our bass boat.
That's awesome.
And so we're like, what can we do? Well, there's all kinds of tournaments out there. But what would be something that's never happened on Guntersville? Let's put this on. So we talked to Paul at Waterfront. I want to tell you, that man has the biggest heart, him and his wife. They are so big on vets, so big on helping people, you know, and I know they get contacted every day. We went there and talked to them, and it was like right off the bat, Paul's like, yeah, I want to be part of this. I want to help. So me and Sam, out of our pocket, we put the 3 flags up. If you go there now, you'll see the 3 flag poles behind there. We did that because we wanted to thank them. Mm-hmm. So then we're sitting there going, let's put a tournament on. So this tournament has helicopters on it. They'll be doing flyovers. Just got contacted by Water Patrol today. They will be there. So how it starts out will be, then we have the color guard come down under big lights, the national anthem, fireworks going off big time. And then we have more music, and then Lee Greenwood's song come on, Proud to be an American. And then we started off with, another big surprise, and then more fireworks. But when you come out, you're going to go underneath 2 Water Patrol boats and a helicopter over the top of you. That's never been done. Mm-mm. We have Bass Magazine. Michelle Mitchell writes for them.
Yes, sir.
She's going to be doing the whole story. She's in a helicopter doing the pictures. Then we're going to have the helicopters fly up and down the lake and take pictures for us of what's going on. So in the meantime, all around Waterfront, we have vendors booths. Mm-hmm. Guys coming from all over the country setting up booths. We have Gunnersville Sheriff's Department doing the IDs for kids. I hope you never need it, but if you do, there's fingerprints and everything, so you'll have that. We have the Blood Mobile coming in. That's all patriotic. It's the military Blood Mobile. So all day that's going where people can come and they can see. And then at the weigh-in, we have a stage, and you'll come in and we'll have a VFW member or someone will take your truck. You'll get back in your boat. You'll go on top of the hill and be weighed in on the stage. And we wanted to make this something that people can say, we support our vets, not only on Veterans Day, any day that we support our vets, our first responders. So we wanted to make this something that was very big and special. And then we will do this every year.
Yes, sir.
And that's the reason we created this tournament is that. And so on April the 7th, at the church right next to Taco Bell in Scottsboro, we're having a banquet. And it's for if you want to come, contact us, let us know you're coming so we can get the food right. No charge. And what it is you come in and we have the defense liaison going to be there, and he's speaking, and then I will speak. And it's just a way to put it out to people, if you want to come truly find out how Team Vet was come about and what we're doing. And it's every single day we lose our brothers and our sisters. And why would we not support, Why?
Absolutely.
And, I just came back from the Classic. We have Halo, American Bait Works, Spro. They all sponsor us. Spro filled our truck up. I mean, we thought it was just a box. Mm-hmm. And then she said, you need to go out to the truck. And they literally filled the whole bed of our truck up in our back seat full of tackle to give out. And American Bait Works, they do the same. And Halo, Duckett, he gave us rods to give out to the vets. And so everyone that we take out, they get something. And we wanted to let them know. And then we were trying to figure out what would be something to get it way out there. So, when I go on a stage, I have to have someone with me so I know if it's too far. Either they sign or someone to help me. Why wouldn't I go to Fish a Pro Cert? Mm-hmm. Why could I not? And I'm one of the naysayers out there that told me that I couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to prove them wrong that you can do it.
Absolutely.
I want them to understand that there's other guys out there that are pros or something that would support what we're trying to do and what we're about. It's more about, for me, everywhere we go, somebody comes to that truck and that boat. When they see that 2021 Denali wrapped American flag, that 21.5-foot boat, trailer, everything wrapped, what it says on it. It says big, bold letters, we serve God and country. And if you don't like that, I don't care.
That's exactly right.
Absolutely.
And so that's on our boat. And so everywhere we go, people come to us. and they tell us their story, and we're able to see if they need assistance. So that's the reason Team Vet started.
Well, hopefully this event really helps get your word out to a different group. You know, clearly you've been doing a lot of things in a lot of different places, and you're just trying to spread the word and it to a variety. I mean, you know, you're not picky. If somebody wants you to have a golf tournament, you probably have a golf tournament.
Right,
but we're fishing guys, so we're going to talk fishing. April 9th, out of Waterfront. Do you have to register by a certain day?
Well, what we've done is we found out there's a misunderstanding. This tournament is not just for vets and first responders. Anybody can fish it. We want anybody to fish it. And so we moved the date to April 5th on our sign up. The reason is we want to get the launch done and figure out how many are doing that. So you can sign up to April 5th, and you can go to Waterfront or you can go on our page and sign up. And then, of course, on the Friday will be everybody come to Waterfront to get your number and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I mean, anybody, and you're right, we will do anything. I mean, for instance, we are doing St. Jude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked about that a minute ago.
We're actually going early before the St. Jude tournament, and we're bringing 5 boats. And we're taking 5 St. Jude kids a day for 2 days out fishing, and they can catch whatever they want. And we're giving them a little trophy, and then we're cooking a meal for them and have something for them to do. And then on June 25th, we are having at Pickwick at the state park. It's a day. So say you guys wanted to enter it. There's nothing. You're not going to win. Nothing. You pay $100. That $100 goes straight to St. Jude. They don't have no payout. They don't have nothing. So Team Vet and St. Jude are the guys that help with the St. Jude tournament. We're putting it together. So you're going to take a child out. That $100 that you give is going straight to the kids. Mm-hmm. And we're going to cater the meal. You'll eat. We'll have meal there. We'll have games. And you may take the kid out, and I'll be honest with you, they can catch a gar to a crappie. It does not matter. Mm-hmm. That's whatever they want to catch, and they come back in, and it's for the kids. It's not the big payout.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Know? So it's not just one tournament you're doing for everybody listening. You're doing multiple things and different for different categories too, not just for disabled vets, right?
Right. Yeah, because I mean, we all know we're headed to Texas. We do 2 in Texas. Michelle Mitchell wants to put one on down there on her lake. You know, Sam Rayburn down there.
Yes, sir.
And then we're heading to Eufaula. I got to meet the mayor of Eufaula, and we're having one there. But then again, me and Sam, we go and help fish any tournament. You know, if it's for kids or first responders or someone in need, we're there.
Yes, sir.
You know, and that's what we need to do.
Right. Well, it sounds like you're really making a difference. I hope this event, you know, the Gunners will weather. You know, it. I hope this event goes the way you've got it planned. It's going to be really cool. Mm-hmm. You mentioned vendors. Mm-hmm. Is that going to start at a certain time that day?
They will be there from launch all day until after the weigh-in.
Okay, so they'll be there from the crack of dawn until.
So even if you don't fish it, you can come by and you'll have different things set up for everybody. Yes. So for everybody listening, if you don't fish it, you can still come to the weigh-in and check everything out. They'll have people there all day, correct? Till
correct. And a lot of people have got with us just because they want to come see the launch.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Oh, I bet.
The Water Patrol may have to get involved. There may be folks show up by boat. Mm-hmm. You know, they may have to keep us a path to get out. Those that fish. And Trey's going to be headed to
sadly
to the Southern. Is it the Southern Open?
It's the Southern
Open. He's going to be out of town for one of the Opens. I'll be there whether I'm fishing or helping, one of the two, whichever way that works out. Maybe both. The guy that fishes with me, we already talked about it, and you know we're in, and you know I'm doing everything I can through the Bass and Big G website and other avenues to try to help people know about it. You know,
I appreciate it.
Try to get them there. Mm-hmm. So, and look, the payouts aren't too shabby. No, you know, I mean, you've got was it $200 entry? Mm-hmm. Does that include the big fish, or is
no? It's $25 extra for the big fish.
Okay, so $225. If he gets 110 boats, first place is $8,000. It's pretty good payout. You know, and you're paying 15 places based on that. If you end up with 200 boats, the payout gets way good. You know, 15 grand. You know, 20 places, $300 for 20th.
I mean, at that $15,000 at 200 boat, that'll buy you 5 gallons of gas.
That's about right. 4.5 anyway.
It'll pay for your trip if you win that one.
Thankfully gas is stabilized a little bit, but if it goes crazy again, we may have a trolling motor tournament. We all may just do laps around outside the river up there. So
blast off will be boring then.
Yeah, no, you're right. We'll all just stand there and watch the helicopters. So, are the helicopters coming out of Huntsville?
No, they're actually DeKalb and Marshall County Sheriff's Departments.
Oh, okay.
Doing it for us.
Okay, all right. And you said the Water Patrol's going to be there,
and they're contacting the Game and Fish, and they're actually probably going to have booths at our event too for the kids and people to know why they're out there. I talked to their guy today, and I'm a firm believer in this. If you ain't doing nothing wrong, you have no reason to worry about them.
Mm-hmm. No.
And that's the key to it. The guys that are worried are the ones that are doing something wrong.
That's right.
The Game and Fish Department, at least the guys here, and they get a bad rap because I know one of them. I've known him for a long, long time in Jackson County, a guy named Scott Kellenberger. Really good guy. If you break the rules, he will write you a ticket. Mm-hmm. If it's his mama, he'd write her a ticket. But he's a really good guy. I worked for him years ago before he was a game warden. He owned an archery store before I went to college. I worked for him. But he's a good guy. But now they are limited to the amount of time that they're allowed to work, and the state actually does not allow them to work more than 40 hours, even if they want to do it on their own. If they're chasing a spotlighter during deer season and they want to, they're putting in the time. When they're 40 hours up, they won't let them work extra. No overtime, no nothing. So Jackson County, and of course waterfront's right there on the line, but Jackson County is the second largest county in the state, and you've got 2 game wardens for it. And you've got, right now, turkey season starts. Youth hunt was this past weekend. Turkey season starts this coming weekend. So, those guys, people are like, well, you can't ever get one. There's only 2. And then you've got 2 in Marshall County as well. Mm-hmm. And the Water Patrol falls under the state troopers now. I don't totally know what their hours are like, but, you see them running around a fair amount out there in the summer. They could probably write a ticket every 30 seconds if they wanted to during the summer. To me, Trey and I were talking earlier about somebody running around him in a slough that was 2 foot deep with stumps pulling their kid on a tube yesterday.
Yep.
Oh my gosh!
I was so scared somebody was going to die. I was like,
he got a video.
I did. I was like, this is not good. I couldn't watch it. I just left. I was like, I can't watch this.
Well, you go up there right now, and you got all the guys from out of town, and you see them running, and you're in 2 foot of water with stumps. Why are you doing?
Yeah, that's right.
With today's mapping technology, even on your phone, you can get an app and basically have a map for free on your phone that should say, "Hey, dummy, don't run here." But people don't look at it. So, Tom, I really appreciate you coming by, telling us about your event, your story. You're doing God's work. It's an amazing thing you're doing. Trey had already said, man, I hate the way the timing worked out that I'm not going to be able to be here. He wanted to be a part of it. And we're going to do our best, everybody that I know, Paul and all the rest of us, we're going to do our best to, help. And the weather's in God's hands. We'll hope for that. One thing that's for sure going to be is plenty of floating eelgrass.
Yeah.
Particularly if you get 100, 200 boats idling around in waterfront getting ready to go. We may need airboats to get to the ramp by the time to come back, because it gets pretty thick in there sometimes anyway. So I really appreciate you coming out. I'm looking forward to the event. Got a few weeks, got some stuff coming up. You fishing anything on Gunnersville over the next couple of weeks?
No, we're headed to Bay Springs on the 2nd.
Okay, on the 2nd. So
I'm really I'm really proud of this. One of the reasons I'm so proud of this tournament is everybody's like, I want to draw number 1. You will not draw number 1 in this tournament because that is me and my wife.
Sure.
I'm fishing that tournament with my wife.
Fantastic.
And me and her founded this, and she asked me if she could fish it, and I was like, yeah. And then Paul was like, you need to be the first boat. That American flag boat be the first boat to leave. So, yeah, me and her's fishing the tournament together and just it's a day for me to show her I appreciate what she does.
Absolutely.
And because, like I said, I'm gone so much, doing what we do. We leave after the St. Jude tournament, and we're gone for 2.5 weeks in Texas and fishing the Skeeter tournament and stuff. So we are gone a lot, and for her to support what we do, she stays at home. So
Right.
that's a big thing.
Absolutely.
So if they want to sign up, you can sign up at Waterfront, Gunnersville Tackle, probably.
Yeah, right.
Or your website is teamvet.us.
Yes.
And there's a registration on there as well.
Yes, there is.
So, okay. All right. So there it is. April 9th. Put it on your calendars. Plan on being there. Be registered by April the 5th.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they're cutting it off so they can get everything figured out. Going to have vendors. I imagine there'll be plenty of food. Waterfront's always got food. You may have food trucks. I don't know.
No, we are Waterfront controls all. We're letting them have all that because I don't want to take any sales away from Waterfront. So
Right.
They do so much for us. Paul and his wife sponsor us so much and do stuff for us. So if it wasn't for them,
Hey, they make some mean chicken fingers and a good cheeseburger, which
right.
Trey still owes me a cheeseburger.
I
By
do
the
still
way.
owe
We
you
made a
a
bet on a tournament earlier, 2 or 3, 4 weeks ago, and he lost barely. so anyway, well, Tom, I really appreciate you coming by. I'm looking forward to the event, and we'll keep pushing it, and we'll see you here in a few weeks.
I appreciate
Thank
it.
you, sir.
Guys.
We'd like to thank Tom again for coming. That's a heck of a story. It's going to be a fun event. I hate you're going to miss it.
I know. I hate I'm gonna miss it too. I was looking forward to emceeing it. I was really wanting to fish it though.
Yeah.
I was really looking forward to it though. I mean, that's an awesome thing he does, and we want to thank him for his service. Thank him for what he does, because that's awesome. To be able to stand up there and tell your story and be able to help others that need it.
It's hard for me to understand the stuff he's really been through. That's
You
not,
can't.
you can't. No, you can't. If there's and it sounds like he's found his call and he's headed there. He's got his head and heart in the right place and working on doing something really, really good. So this coming weekend, as we mentioned earlier, we got the Big Bass Splash.
Yep.
What's your guess on the big fish for 3 days of Gunnersville fishing?
8 3/4.
Yeah, last year was 859.
Mm-hmm.
The year before, which was COVID year, it was about the same, but it was in June.
Yeah.
Have not seen a lot of big fish so far this year.
I've been fishing, which if they're out there, I probably wouldn't catch it anyways. But I just ain't seen no real big ones caught. The other day I caught that 770, but I went through a lot of numbers and I ain't caught no just real big ones.
You got to catch about 150 to catch a 770?
Yeah, exactly. Catch 150 and catch one 770. Yeah. But I would say 8 3/4 to 9 1/4 because it's getting spawned. They're about to start spawning. Like them big ones will be laying around somewhere. If you can get your eyes on it, somebody will catch a giant.
No, you're right. There could very well be a 9-pounder. I'm with you. I think upper 8s. Last year there was only 2 8-pounders.
Yeah,
which is a little unusual.
Yeah, that's surprising.
But again, Gunnersville goes in cycles.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't been here fishing long enough to really see them yet, or you've seen a little bit of a shift, I guess. But it's been up and down a lot over the years. You'll go through years, and we talked about this before, where I guess we were ignorant on it then, but they had good spawns, bad spawns. You get 4 or 5 years, and you get. But like you said, there's a lot of 2 and 3 pounders out there right now. Assuming they don't all get caught in gill nets, in 4 or 5 years we'll have some, quite a few big ones. On the gill net thing, the guy told me, that he had been talking to, like you had talked to the guy. Those things are designed with pretty big holes where a lot of the smaller fish, 2-pounders, 3-pounders, can swim through them. The flaw in that design is it catches the big ones.
Yep.
And a lot of them they say are alive when they let them go. Hopefully they live. So tell me a little something about Smith Lake. We touched on that a minute ago. Did you get cold?
I still ain't thawed out.
Yeah,
I'm going to be honest with you. I still ain't thawed out. My partner thinks he's Ricky Bobby. He wants to run 97 miles an hour everywhere we go. And I'm like, I was curled up in the floorboard, and then his boat started messing up. He said, dude, I don't know what's wrong with it. I said, I know what's wrong with it. It's too cold. I said, would you want to run down the lake right now? He said, no. I said, well, there you go. I said, let's just fish right here where we're at, and we'll be okay.
That was the snow day, right?
It was snowing. It blasted off. I don't think it quit snowing completely until about 12 o'clock, because it warmed up like a whopping 1 degree all day. I told him, I said, it's like 26. If it hits 27, they're liable to go spawn. I said, that warming trend is going to push them up there. And he said, this ain't the time for jokes. I said, that's not a joke. I'm being serious here.
Let me ask you a question. You went fishing one day not long ago and got really, really cold wearing your dude shoes, right?
Yep.
What did you wear fishing that day when you knew it was going to be cold?
So, well, that's funny because I got a text from Uncle G the night before, and he said, I don't know if you've learned your lesson or not, but I looked at the weather, and you might not want to wear your dude shoes tomorrow. And I said, well, but here's the thing. I did wear my dude shoes, but I figured out these little, I don't even know what they're called, but they're like booties.
Boot blankets.
Yeah, something like that. Like I wore my dude shoes, and I wore a pair of ankle socks and then a pair of wool socks, and then I put my little booties on and zipped them up. My feet never got cold all day.
For anybody that's listened this long into this episode, if you feel the need to throw some money at us to sponsor us or whatever, Trey needs some boots.
Yeah, I need some boots because I'm still rocking the booties and dude shoes over here.
Dude's going fishing in 25-degree weather wearing dude shoes. Boy needs some boots. He's ready for flip-flop season. He gets it.
I can't wait.
I could not believe that you went fishing in dude shoes the first time. And when you told me you did it the second time, I was really kind of doubting you. And then you said you at least had the boot blanket. So,
yep, that's right.
I would have liked you. That would have been a good picture. Did Daniel take a picture of you standing back there?
I'm sure he did.
How did you not fall in the water wearing boot blankets? Those are made for sitting in a tree stand. Sitting.
I mean, I just stand there. I told him, I said, I'll be warm. I said, I just can't run the trolling motor because these big old things on my feet. I said, I can't run it. So
Didn't have to worry about the net a whole lot that day, did you?
No, not the net. I told him, he said, should I get the net out? I said, for what? What are we going to catch? Snow? I said, the holes is too big for them flakes to get through there. I said, we ain't going to catch nothing.
So you did at least catch a few fish, unlike that lake we will not name from before.
We did. I think we caught 10 or 15 fish. We caught a couple slots. We had 2 overs and 3 unders. We had a whopping 7 pounds, which got us a whopping 114th place. But I told Daniel, I said, look, if we make it back to the boat ramp without dying and drowning and freezing to death and getting hypothermia, we won today. And we did that, so I'm happy. I'm like, we're alive. We're headed to Cherokee next. I'm like, I cannot wait.
What, Cherokee going to be smallmouth?
It's got both. It's the smallmouth is probably going to play, though.
You think so?
More than the largemouth. I feel like it's kind of equal populated with both of them, but this time of the year, smallmouths start going to spawn, and they bite. They bite.
Yeah.
So
is it clear?
It's not like Smith clear, but it's not muddy. I think some certain areas get really clear. I've only been there one time. I just drove up 2 days to pre-practice and look around, and it was it wasn't dirty, but it wasn't gin clear. It was kind of the color I like. Seems like they bite a little bit better than that, but that's the rockiest place I've ever been in my whole life.
Rocky.
Yeah, but it's weird. It's not like Smith rock. It's like you'll be going down a bank and it's like nothing but clay or pea gravel or whatever. It's just, bare. And then all of a sudden there'll be like a 50-yard, 100-yard stretch of rocks as big as this table. Like it's just insane.
Interesting.
We caught 2 fish, boated 2 fish in 2 days. On
your little practice run up there?
Yeah, on our little 2-day
So you're on them?
I mean, I'm basically on them. They might as well just hand the trophy over. Because at this pace, I ain't even got to practice. I'm on them. Was
it post frontal when you went up there?
Yeah, it was the day after they got. See, we got like an inch or 2 of snow.
You went right after Smith.
Yeah, we left. We left the boat ramp Saturday, drove home and packed, and left Sunday morning at about 4 o'clock or something, and drove up. So there was still like 3 or 4 inches of snow on the ground up there when we got there.
That was almost as smart as fishing in dude shoes.
Yeah, that's what I told Daniel, and then Daniel's like, man, I don't know. My buddy Daniel said, I don't know why they ain't biting. I said, dude, the water tent, they said the water tent was like in the upper 50s before that snow, and it was like, 49 to 51.
Well, you dumped a few buckets of ice in the lake.
A few buckets of ice out there. I'm like, dude, they're not supposed to bite. They're just not.
Hopefully you get some stable weather before you head up there. it looks like we're going to get cool but relatively stable this weekend for the splash. That wind's going to be the factor on, on the big fish. The time has changed. Trey and I, if we'd wrapped it up quick enough, we could still make it to Honeycomb and go fishing for a couple hours. All the afternoon wildcats have started up. You've got the Sunday afternoon deal out of Browns Creek. You've got the Monday afternoon today, starting about right now, out of Mud Creek. Thursday afternoon out of Scottsboro City Park. I think they had 28 boats last Thursday, which is a lot for a Thursday afternoon tournament for 2 hours. But
that is.
So this weekend, Big Bass Splash owns everything. There'll be a Honeycomb Wildcat. Those guys always have one. Not a lot else happening because of that. The weekend after, which will be right before we meet again, ABA couples, Wildcat, NBT. There's a catfish tournament out of Goose Pond. You'll see some boats running around, look like crappie boats on steroids. Great big trolling rods. And then a couple little club deals. All that information is available on the Bass and Big G website. Looking into April seems to be the month this year. And of course you're going to be traveling like crazy.
Sadly, I'll be going.
Well, hopefully it's not sadly.
Well,
hopefully you're down there finding your way because you got a good step up now. So
that's right.
April you got the Team Vet tournament that we've talked about. April 9th, Freedom Marine tournament. The next weekend, Casting and Catching, is the next weekend, the 23rd. All three of those are really good events, all a little different. Team Vet and Casting and Catching are fundraisers. Freedom Marine is something that Ken over at Freedom started putting on a few years ago. They have a crawfish boil, but they pay a lot of money out.
They do.
And they pay a lot of money out. There's also one, and I forgot to put it on here. There's an MLF format kind of deal that's coming. It's pretty pricey. I don't know how it's going to work out. I hope for their sake it does. It's the second week of April. I'm going to pull it up here on the website real quick. Maybe. Have you seen the flyers for that, Trey? Paul's
got them over there in the store. I've seen it. I haven't looked at it much because I'll be out of town, so I haven't even paid it no attention. It
runs the 18th of April through the 23rd of April, but by the 23rd, you fish like one or 2 days. I think you fish one day, and the top so many from each day qualify for the final day. But it's like $40,000 first place, but it is $850 entry fee.
$850.
$850. It's a team tournament. $850. First place $40,000.
Well, if I was in town, I couldn't afford to fish that one anyway. So.
No, that's my only fear. Now you're going to have like a marshal. They're paying marshals.
I was about to say, I bet that's why. I bet they have to pay to get a.
Yeah, they're paying. I saw the price.
But still, $850 to win. How much do you say?
$40,000. $40,000, I believe is what it's called.
I'll take that.
Team Bass Tournament. If you go to the Bass and Big G website, there's a link to it in there. I haven't studied that as much. I actually kind of forgot about it till just now. It's a new deal. I think they're running it on Pickwick here. I don't remember the dates for the other lakes. Interesting concept. That's going to price a lot of folks out. Probably me too.
Yep.
Because you're guaranteed to fish one day.
Yeah.
And then you got to make like the top 5 that day. You're only going to have now. Their goal was maybe 200 boats, and they were going to have 50 a day. You wouldn't have 200 boats on the water in a given day. And it is Monday through Thursday, so that does have Trey Swindle written all over it.
You're right.
But, and then the top 5 from each one of those fish on Saturday. That's steep. That's a lot of money.
Yep. I get the lucky draw, though. If I fished it and Monday, everybody would have pretty weather, and Tuesday everybody would, and then I'd fish on Wednesday and it'd be coming a tornado and blowing 35, and I'd be out there trying to fight to catch one when everybody else caught 100 pounds.
And somebody'd pull a tube by you.
And somebody would pull an inner tube right over a megawatt of them.
So that kind of wraps up today. We really appreciate everybody that's listening. Information for all the tournaments and results is on the bassandbiggg.com website. If you're interested in sponsoring Trey some new dude shoes that are insulated, shoot us an email or something. We're open to sponsors if somebody wants to discuss it. We really appreciate you listening. If you enjoyed it, leave a review on whatever podcast app you're using, like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. See you next time.